Do you remember waking up on Saturday mornings, rushing downstairs in your pajamas to watch your favorite cartoons? The sound of the TV turning on, with those iconic theme songs playing in the background. Your favorite characters were waiting for you, and every second felt like magic. It was a time when life was simpler and filled with joy. Toys were more than just playthings, they were companions on grand adventures. Join us as we take a trip back to the 70s and 80s, a time when toys and cartoons shaped the American childhood. Let's relive the golden days of Saturday mornings, toys, and unforgettable cartoons. The 70s and 80s were a golden era for toys, and every child had a must-have. First up, who could forget the Rubik's Cube? It was a puzzle that challenged our minds and kept us occupied for hours. Then there were the Star Wars action figures, which brought our favorite characters into the real world. Every kid had a few of those iconic figures, whether it was Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. Cabbage Patch Kids were another phenomenon. Kids would line up outside stores just to get one. And, of course, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe brought action-packed adventures into our living rooms. Mattel, Hasbro, and Fisher-Price were the giants behind these toys, creating memories that still hold a special place today. Saturday mornings were sacred, and cartoons were at the heart of it all. Shows like the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo, and He-Man filled our screens with adventure and laughter. The Smurfs, with their lovable blue characters, were a staple of Saturday mornings. Scooby-Doo combined mystery with comedy, making every episode a thrilling adventure. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe introduced us to a world of fantasy and heroism. And who could forget the iconic battle cry? Thundercats, with its magical setting and memorable characters, was another fan favorite. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made a lasting impact with its unique blend of humor, action, and pizza-loving heroes. And don't forget about the Jetsons, a futuristic family that gave us a glimpse of the world yet to come. Saturday mornings weren't just about cartoons, they were a whole experience. Waking up early, often before the sun had fully risen, was the norm. The anticipation of watching your favorite show was so intense. By 6 a.m., you were glued to the screen, watching the Super Friends or the Flintstones. It wasn't just about the cartoons, though. The whole atmosphere made it magical. The TV guides were our treasure maps, helping us plan out the day's entertainment. And there were the commercials, which introduced us to must-have products like Fruit Loops and action figures. Saturday mornings were complete with a bowl of cereal and a dream-filled mind. The whole family gathered to watch together, making it a time for bonding and shared memories. Toys and cartoons didn't just entertain. They became a part of the larger cultural fabric of the 70s and 80s. They influenced movies, fashion, and even our daily lives. For example, Star Wars action figures didn't just stay on our shelves. They inspired blockbuster films and became part of popular culture. Shows like He-Man and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles led to merchandise, comics, and even live-action series. Kids could be seen playing out epic battles in the schoolyard, pretending to be their favorite characters. The influence of these toys and cartoons even made its way into our fashion, with shirts, hats, and backpacks adorned with our beloved characters. These shows and toys helped shape the way we saw the world, and they left an indelible mark on the generations that grew up with them. Some toys from the 70s and 80s are more than just objects. They are cultural icons. Take the Rubik's Cube, for example. It wasn't just a toy. It was a worldwide challenge. Everyone from your parents to your grandparents tried to solve it. Then there was the Hot Wheels craze, with miniature cars that would race around tracks, sometimes going through loops and wild stunts. You couldn't walk into a kid's room without seeing a Hot Wheels collection. And let's not forget about Barbie. In the 80s, Barbie was everywhere, inspiring kids to dream of endless possibilities. She wasn't just a doll. She was a symbol of style, adventure, and imagination. And the best part, she could be anything, from a fashion model to an astronaut. Saturday morning cartoons were more than just entertainment, They influenced an entire generation. These shows were often the first exposure to pop culture, and they were shared experiences. Cartoons like Scooby-Doo made kids laugh, while others like He-Man inspired fantasies of heroism. For many children, these shows became part of their identity. They even impacted the way we communicated. Phrases like, "by the power of Grayskull," became part of everyday speech. Cartoons were also one of the first ways we learned about different cultures, with shows like The Jetsons giving us a peek into the future. These cartoons were more than just distractions. They were windows into different worlds, shaping how kids saw the world around them. Saturday mornings wouldn't have been complete without cereal commercials, which became iconic in their own right. You could always count on seeing a commercial for Fruit Loops, Cap'n Crunch, or Lucky Charms. These commercials were colorful, energetic, and filled with catchy jingles that stuck in your head. The best part? They always promised fun, and the cereal itself seemed like a treat to kick off a weekend of adventures. These commercials even made you believe that eating a bowl of sugary cereal was a big part of the Saturday morning experience. It wasn't just about the cereal. It was about the way they made you feel like you were part of the magic of Saturday mornings. For many, Saturday mornings had their own unique routine. The excitement of waking up early and rushing to the TV was unmatched. You didn't just watch cartoons, you experienced them. The kitchen would be filled with the sounds of cereal boxes being opened and milk being poured. Everyone knew that cartoons were about to start, and the living room became a gathering place for family members. The TV guide was essential, helping you plan out your morning and making sure you didn't miss a single moment of your favorite shows. You could even set a timer to make sure you didn't waste a second of precious Saturday cartoon time. Saturday mornings were also a time when toy commercials took center stage. These commercials were designed to make you want every toy you saw, from action figures to board games. The commercials were clever, often showing kids having the time of their lives while playing with the latest toys. One of the most memorable toy ads was for the G.I. Joe action figures. It wasn't just a commercial. It was a mini-story of adventure, with the characters battling it out in epic battles. These commercials would spark endless hours of imaginative play, as kids would recreate the adventures they saw on TV. The best part? The toys often looked just like the characters, giving kids the chance to become part of their favorite shows. Certain cartoons from the 70s and 80s didn't just entertain, they became pop culture phenomena. Shows like the Smurfs introduced characters that are still beloved today. They became more than just a Saturday morning tradition. They became icons in their own right. Scooby-Doo was another example, with the gang of mystery solvers becoming synonymous with friendship, adventure, and comedy. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe gave us a sense of fantasy and adventure that shaped the imagination of an entire generation. These cartoons weren't just TV shows. They were cultural touchstones that influenced how kids dressed, played, and even communicated. The themes and characters from these shows became so ingrained in daily life that they're still referenced today. Let's take a closer look at the best cartoons that defined Saturday mornings. The Jetsons, for example, showed us a futuristic world filled with flying cars and robot maids, giving kids a glimpse of what life could look like in the future. Thundercats took us to a mystical world with warrior cats and epic battles that captured the imagination. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had it all: action, humor, and pizza. Who didn't want to be a turtle fighting crime in New York City? And The Flintstones was a classic, bringing Stone Age humor to life in a way that still made us laugh. Each of these cartoons had something special that kept us glued to the TV, eagerly awaiting the next episode. Toys and cartoons went hand in hand in the 70s and 80s, each influencing the other. Cartoons weren't just about entertaining kids, they were also marketing tools for the toys they promoted. He-Man was a prime example of this, with every episode showcasing the action figures that were sold in stores. The same was true for G.I. Joe, Star Wars, and even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These cartoons weren't just stories. They were commercials that helped fuel the toy craze. Kids didn't just watch the characters on TV, they wanted to own them. The connection between toys and cartoons created a cycle where the shows drove the sales and the toys kept the excitement going. It was a brilliant strategy that made both toys and cartoons a cultural force. Even today, the nostalgia surrounding Saturday mornings is powerful. It's not just about the cartoons and toys. It's about the memories they created. These shows and toys were part of the fabric of childhood, shaping the way we looked at the world. There was a certain magic to waking up early, grabbing a bowl of cereal, and watching your favorite cartoons with the family. The excitement wasn't just about the entertainment, it was about being part of something bigger. Saturday mornings were a time when the world seemed full of endless possibilities. For those who grew up in the 70s and 80s, these memories are cherished and continue to hold a special place in our hearts. The cartoons of the 70s and 80s didn't just entertain. They inspired generations of children. Shows like He-Man taught kids the value of bravery and strength, while the Smurfs emphasized teamwork and friendship. Even Scooby-Doo taught kids that courage could be found in the most unexpected places. These shows weren't just distractions. They offered valuable life lessons wrapped in fun, exciting stories. The characters became role models, and their adventures encouraged kids to dream big and aim high. These cartoons were more than just entertainment. They were the first exposure to storytelling that shaped how kids viewed the world. They sparked creativity, imagination, and a sense of wonder that lasts to this day. Saturday morning cartoons didn't just influence the way we spent our weekends, they also influenced our fashion. T-shirts with characters like He-Man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Scooby-Doo became all the rage. Kids would proudly wear their favorite cartoon characters on their clothing, often showing off their personalities through these iconic prints. Action figures weren't just toys, they were part of the fashion statement. Having a lunchbox or backpack with your favorite character was a badge of honor. Cartoon characters appeared everywhere, on posters, on lunchboxes, even on bed sheets. These characters became symbols of childhood, and the fashion world embraced them, bringing the world of Saturday mornings into the everyday. Commercials played a major role in shaping Saturday mornings. These weren't your regular ads. They were often mini-events that included catchy jingles and bright, colorful visuals. Kids eagerly awaited the toy commercials that would pop up between cartoon episodes. They showed kids playing with toys like He-Man figures, Star Wars spaceships, and Barbie dolls in exciting, action-packed scenarios. These commercials made it hard to resist asking for those toys when you went to the store. The energy and excitement from these ads were infectious, making Saturday mornings feel like one long commercial for fun and adventure. They helped to fuel the toy obsession of an entire generation, with each commercial sparking dreams of owning the next big thing. Saturday mornings were the golden time for cartoons, but they also changed the landscape of TV programming forever. Before the 70s and 80s, children's programming wasn't as widespread, and cartoons were a rare treat. But Saturday mornings revolutionized the way networks approached children's content. Networks started dedicating entire blocks of programming to cartoons, often from early morning until noon. These blocks became highly anticipated, with children waking up at dawn just to catch their favorite shows. This programming change not only influenced how kids watched TV, but also how advertisers marketed to them. The success of Saturday morning cartoons created a blueprint for children's television that remains influential today. The power of nostalgia surrounding Saturday morning cartoons is stronger than ever. Today, networks and streaming services recognize the deep emotional connection that many have to the shows of their childhood. Shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and He-Man have seen reboots, with new generations discovering the adventures of their favorite heroes. The nostalgia for these cartoons has inspired a new wave of merchandise, from action figures to limited edition collectibles. Even today's commercials often reference classic cartoons to tap into that emotional connection. The impact of these cartoons and toys from the 70s and 80s continues to resonate, as they are lovingly remembered by those who grew up with them. The legacy of Saturday morning cartoons extends far beyond the TV screen. These shows were more than just a way to pass the time. They defined an era of childhood. The friendships formed between kids who shared the same love for characters like Scooby-Doo, the Smurfs, and He-Man still resonate today. The cartoons inspired kids to be creative, to act out their favorite scenes with toys, and to imagine a world full of adventures. These Saturday mornings provided the foundation for a generation of kids who would grow up to be creatives, storytellers, and entrepreneurs. Saturday morning cartoons taught kids the value of imagination, friendship, and fun, and that legacy continues to live on. As time passed, cartoons evolved, but the core elements from the 70s and 80s still hold strong. Early animation gave way to more sophisticated techniques, but the heart of Saturday morning cartoons remained the same. Shows like The Smurfs were simple yet captivating, with their charming characters and relatable stories. Later, as technology improved, cartoons like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles added more action-packed sequences and complex plots. This blend of creativity, fantasy, and technology helped cartoons maintain their status as a cultural cornerstone. Despite changes in animation styles, these cartoons still hold a place in our hearts, reminding us of simpler times when Saturday mornings were all about joy and adventure. The 70s and 80s were pivotal in introducing some of the most iconic characters in cartoon history. Characters like Scooby-Doo, He-Man, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were not just cartoons. They became part of the larger pop culture landscape. These characters were relatable and memorable, with their personalities and quirks becoming instantly recognizable to kids of that era. Their adventures were fun, but they also taught valuable lessons, whether about friendship, bravery, or the power of teamwork. Every Saturday morning, new heroes and villains would emerge, adding to the ever-growing roster of characters that kids eagerly followed. These shows created a sense of belonging, as kids everywhere shared their favorite characters. Saturday morning cartoons were groundbreaking in how they approached storytelling. These shows weren't just mindless entertainment. They featured narratives that often spanned multiple episodes or seasons. Shows like He-Man and Thundercats featured intricate plots that developed over time, giving kids the chance to become invested in the characters' journeys. These serialized storylines made the cartoons feel more like mini-dramas, with high stakes and emotional moments that kept kids coming back. The impact of Saturday morning storytelling is still felt in today's animated series, which continue to build on the foundations laid by these classic shows. The ability to create a world kids could immerse themselves in was something Saturday morning cartoons did masterfully. While Saturday mornings were primarily for kids, parents often joined in on the fun, too. These cartoons weren't just for the younger generation. They were a family affair. Shows like the Flintstones and the Jetsons appealed to both children and adults, offering humor and storylines that everyone could enjoy. It wasn't unusual for parents to sit down with their kids, enjoying the cartoons together. For many, Saturday mornings were a time to bond as a family, sharing a common experience that brought everyone together. The cartoons became a bridge between generations, allowing both parents and children to experience a slice of nostalgia, even if they were experiencing different eras of childhood. Saturday morning cartoons helped shape the entertainment landscape we know today. Their impact can be seen in the rise of animated series on streaming platforms, the continued success of superhero films, and the way cartoons have influenced pop culture as a whole. Modern shows, like Adventure Time and Rick and Morty, owe a debt to the cartoons that came before them, incorporating elements of fantasy, humor, and even social commentary. Saturday morning cartoons taught kids that animation was a valid form of storytelling, one that could tackle complex themes while still entertaining. This legacy continues to be carried forward by a new generation of animators, writers, and creators who grew up with these beloved cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons were a playground for children's imaginations. Shows like He-Man, Thundercats, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles didn't just entertain, they inspired children to create their own worlds. Kids would spend hours in the backyard, reenacting their favorite episodes or making up new adventures for their favorite characters. The cartoons didn't just show us fantastical worlds, they encouraged us to imagine and invent. Toys like action figures and dolls further fueled these fantasies, as kids created elaborate storylines and role-played with their friends. Saturday mornings provided an opportunity to escape into a world of creativity where anything was possible. These shows gave children a sense of wonder that stayed with them long after the credits rolled. Saturday mornings also helped build social connections. Kids would gather together to watch their favorite shows, whether at home or at a friend's house. These shared experiences allowed kids to bond over mutual love for characters and storylines. "Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?" became a common conversation starter. Cartoons also sparked conversations at school, with kids debating their favorite characters, episodes, or toys. These connections weren't just about watching TV. They were about forming friendships and creating memories that would last a lifetime. Saturday mornings were a social event that brought kids together, whether they were watching cartoons in person or sharing stories of their adventures later. The cultural impact of Saturday morning cartoons cannot be overstated. Shows like The Smurfs, He-Man, and The Flintstones weren't just TV programs. They were cultural touchstones. They influenced everything from fashion to social trends, and their influence extended far beyond the television screen. These shows were so embedded in the fabric of American culture that they were referenced in films, music, and even political discourse. Characters from Saturday morning cartoons appeared on everything from cereal boxes to lunch boxes, becoming symbols of a generation. These cartoons also shaped the way children viewed the world, teaching them lessons about bravery, friendship, and teamwork in a fun, engaging way. They were more than just entertainment. They were a shared cultural experience that defined an era. With the rise of Saturday morning cartoons, a new era of commercialization also emerged. Cartoons weren't just entertainment. They became marketing vehicles for toys, games, and merchandise. Brands like Hasbro, Mattel, and Kenner saw an opportunity to sell products based on popular characters, turning cartoons into lucrative franchises. Characters like He-Man, Barbie, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were transformed into toys, books, and even lunchboxes. Kids were not just watching the cartoons, they were consuming the world of the characters in multiple ways. The commercialization of Saturday morning cartoons marked a shift in how children's media was created, with a strong emphasis on cross-promotion and brand expansion. This strategy laid the groundwork for the massive toy and media empires we see today. While Saturday morning cartoons may no longer dominate the TV lineup, their legacy lives on in today's media landscape. Streaming platforms like Netflix and Disney Plus continue to produce animated series that capture the magic of Saturday mornings. Modern cartoons, while more diverse and sophisticated, still carry the spirit of those beloved classics. Today's kids might not be waking up at dawn to catch a cartoon, but they are still engaging with animation and storytelling in ways that were first popularized by those iconic shows. The nostalgia for Saturday mornings remains strong, and many parents are sharing their favorite cartoons with the next generation. Saturday mornings may have changed, but the love for animated adventures continues to be passed down. One of the most impressive aspects of Saturday morning cartoons is how they transcended generations. Shows that were popular in the 70s and 80s are still beloved by kids today. Thanks to reboots and reruns, children who never experienced the original airings can still enjoy classics like Scooby-Doo or He-Man. These shows weren't just a part of one generation. They are timeless. They have become staples of popular culture, passed down like treasured heirlooms. Parents introduce them to their children, keeping the magic of Saturday mornings alive. Whether through nostalgic reruns or modern reboots, the legacy of these cartoons continues to connect generations, proving that good storytelling never goes out of style. Music played a crucial role in making Saturday morning cartoons unforgettable. Iconic theme songs like the one from The Jetsons or He-Man immediately take us back to our childhood. These catchy, memorable tunes became as much a part of the experience as the shows themselves. The music wasn't just an intro. It set the tone and mood for each adventure. The upbeat rhythms and catchy lyrics made the shows feel even more exciting. Kids would sing along with the theme songs, and these melodies became forever etched in their memories. To this day, hearing a classic cartoon theme song can instantly transport us back to those magical Saturday mornings. The success of Saturday morning cartoons also led to the rise of cartoon merchandising. Toys, clothes, lunchboxes, and even video games became closely tied to the most popular characters. The massive success of toy lines like G.I. Joe and Star Wars was directly tied to the popularity of the cartoons that featured them. Stores would often have entire aisles dedicated to cartoon-related merchandise. Kids couldn't escape the world of their favorite characters. They could wear them, play with them, and even eat breakfast with them, thanks to cereal promotions. Cartoon merchandising became an industry of its own, fueling the cultural phenomenon of Saturday mornings and turning characters into household names. As the years passed, Saturday morning cartoons began to decline. Changes in TV programming, the rise of cable networks, and the advent of streaming platforms all contributed to the fading tradition. Networks started focusing on cartoons during the week, and Saturday mornings became just another part of the daily TV schedule. The commercial dominance of cartoon-related merchandise also started to shift with the advent of the internet and digital entertainment. Kids no longer had to wait until Saturday morning for their cartoon fix. While the era of Saturday morning cartoons may have come to an end, the memories they created continue to live on in the hearts of those who grew up with them. Though Saturday mornings as we knew them are a thing of the past, the lasting influence of these cartoons remains. They shaped the way kids viewed television, entertainment, and even themselves. These cartoons introduced generations of children to the power of storytelling and imagination. The characters and stories still resonate, inspiring new shows, movies, and even comics. The legacy of Saturday mornings is carried on in the creative minds of today's animators, writers, and producers. The cultural impact of these cartoons is undeniable, as they laid the foundation for modern animated entertainment. Their influence continues to inspire, and their stories will live on for generations to come. Now that we've taken this nostalgic journey through the toys, cartoons, and Saturday mornings of the past, it's time to hear from you. What was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon? Which toy did you absolutely have to have? Drop your memories in the comments below, and let's relive those magical moments together. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic content. Until next time, let's keep the Saturday morning spirit alive.